what do you think of Richmond, Bryson?
It looks like Queens from New York.
Do you remember that big building?
Yeah, that big building where you used to work over there.
That's it. Once upon a yesteryear.
It wasn't yesteryear.
It wasn't yesteryear? When was it?
You didn't work there last year.
Yesteryear is an expression that is about the past. Focus on that?
Oh, yeah.
It's sad that the highway covers up this one right here. Yeah, most of it. What a beautiful building. The highway now covers it up, and that's an old railroad station. I mean, it's still active. Excuse me. That sign, that Richmond sign, can you see it in the camera?
Yeah.
That Richmond sign was put into place when we had the big international cycling contest here. That, of course, I can't remember what it's called. We'll put it on the screen for you all. But, yeah. Tour de France? No, it can't be the Tour de France. We're not in France. The Tour de something. So
Tour de Virginia.
Tour de Virginia. We are headed to D.C. What are we going to do today before the fireworks?
The zoo. We're going to go to the zoo.
The National Zoo. The National Zoo.
Zoo.
All right. Yeah, so we're headed to DC. We're gonna go to the National Zoo, which is part of the Smithsonian Institute unit. It's part of the Smithsonian Institutes. Is it institutes or institution? Can you look at it? I should know that. I'm headed to National Zoo.
Actually, you can
To see some animals.
You can call it institutes or institutions.
No, it has a formal name. It's either institutes or institutions. First, we are going to Waffle House because we're going to eat what, Bryson?
Waffles. Listen to this song. It's such a cool effect they use in the guitar. It's a wow pedal, I think. Actually, no, it is.
Anyway, I'm getting some bacon and eggs, and he's going to get some waffles. And then we're going to take this long ride up to DC and hope we don't run into too much traffic. This corridor of I-95 is notoriously clogged up no matter what. And we're traveling on July 4th because we're crazy. So yeah, we just tried to stop at Waffle House on the road at a random stop. And I should have known, you know, Waffle House. Sometimes you get a really good Waffle House with a staff that is fantastic, and sometimes you get a Waffle House with a staff that has no idea how to act. They just act crazy. So within 5 minutes of entering said Waffle House, there were 2 incidents. I probably only needed one, but I stuck around for the second one and decided it's time to get out of here. We're gonna head over to Cracker Barrel instead. So the first incident was a gentleman who had ordered takeout. He wanted his food to go, and he went to the ooh, there's a flea market. Would you like to go to a flea market sometime?
What in the world is a flea market?
What in the world is a flea market? We'll talk about that later. Okay, so the gentleman goes to the cashier and decides he wants his takeout in the store. Like, he wants to eat, sit down and go ahead and eat there.
Yeah.
And he asked nicely. The place is not crowded, mind you. It's not a crowded Waffle House. I mean, it had a full house, but it wasn't like there was a line waiting or anything. And the cashier gave him the hardest time and so much attitude about it. I mean, when the cashier is saying something like, well, that's why I asked you. Ooh, tone it down. And then, incident numero dos, we went ahead. There's a family that was sitting at the bar. They got up. And I said, are you leaving? And they said, yes. So we sat down at the bar to eat. It's not called the bar there. The counter. It's like a counter with, you know, chairs like the old Woolworths and whatever. We sat down. And this poor family, what they were doing is they got up to go sit at a table. There was a table that had cleared. They sat down. They were so excited to get their table. And the waitress that was serving them was literally yelling in the restaurant at the family. That's a whole nother section. That's a whole nother section. You can't sit there. That's a different waitress. The family had not eaten. They were just drinking coffee at this point. You know, they were waiting on their orders. And I was trying to explain to Bryson what the problem is. The problem is not that the family sat at another table. I've never, ever been to an establishment, a food establishment, where I desired to switch tables and I was not allowed to. Ever. That has never happened. Excuse me. Maybe if it was overly crowded and there were people waiting, I was told I would have to wait like 45 minutes to an hour or something if I wanted to switch. But I was never denied switching a table. This family went from a bar to a table, which is logical. Who wouldn't want to do that? And the waitress is yelling. The whole place can hear that the family wasn't supposed to sit at the table. They were supposed to stay where they ordered their food. There's two reasons. One reason is it confuses the wait staff because they've got a matrix in their mind of what food is going to what spot. Okay, that's easy enough to fix. I don't want to hear that that's a problem. The second thing is the waitress at the original station, the counter, would not get her tip because the family went and sat down at another table. Now let's do the math here. We're talking about Waffle House. The problem was the tip. If there was a different waitress at the other table in the corner, the waitress at the counter wasn't going to get her tip. Let's do the math. You got a family of 3 at Waffle House. Let's say they ate a lot of food, and the bill was $30 because the food there is super cheap. If you left a 15% tip, which is pretty standard in the States, it's a $5 tip. You're going to yell across Waffle House and act like a maniac with poor manners over $5? Is life that bad? And maybe the answer is yes. That you want to make a big scene for a family that's just trying to eat some waffles and eggs for $5. I don't have patience or tolerance for that kind of mentality. And I told us, we're out of here. I took my little bud and we got out. And we're heading to Cracker Barrel where we can actually shop for some kitschy, silly stuff. You tired, boo-boo?
I'm tired of sitting in this car waiting to eat.
So we'll see you at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, guys.
You happy to be at Cracker Barrel?
I love me some Cracker Barrel.
In the car, it's in the crib.
Admit it, we love to play this game too.
Yummy, yummy, yummy. Food in my tummy. And the biscuits, of course. Yeah, that's a no. So lo and behold, we were able to sit peacefully at Cracker Barrel and have a delicious breakfast. The bacon was great, the eggs were great, his pancakes were delicious, and I had one of them. I don't have any business eating pancakes, but boy was it good. I'll tell you what about Cracker Barrel. Those biscuits. So years ago, about 10 years ago, Cracker Barrel would serve biscuits and corn muffins. They don't do the corn muffins anymore, which breaks my heart, but they still serve the fluffiest, most delicious, softest, lightest biscuits. Oh, absolute heaven. They melt in your mouth. If I could figure out how to make those biscuits at home, I'd be in big trouble. I'd be eating biscuits all day. So anyway, that was really, really delicious. One of the main reasons for going to the National Zoo was to see the pandas. This is one of the only zoos in the nation that has any pandas. And the pandas were sleeping. And they were sleeping in doorways. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was cooler in the doorways. But yeah, that was a really not exciting part of the visit. Let's play a game of Spot the Venomous Snake. Don't mind me, I'm just gonna hang out over here for a second, okay guys? Smile. E.T. phone home. So Bryson, what would you rate the zoo as a whole?
I would rate the zoo like a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10.
And say why?
I don't really know. It's just there's not that much stuff to do there. There's a lack of bathrooms.
Mm-hmm. So it's super hot today. It's almost 90 degrees, maybe more. My thoughts are about the same. I've been to much better zoos, much better. I was expecting the National Zoo, being part of the Smithsonian Institution. It's institution. I actually looked it up. I expected it to be more. So it's kind of kidney shaped. You know, like long versus circular or square or rectangular. And where we parking was a hot mess. So why don't we start there? There are 4 parking lots, and there really isn't any system to let you know when they fill up. They think they have a system, but not really. So we went into one parking lot. There weren't, we were summoned into one parking lot. There weren't any spots. All right, so then we get summoned to the second parking lot. Again, there's no spots and there was no place to turn around. So it got really messy as everybody got to the back of the rows and figured out, oh, there's no spots, and everybody has to do these like 20-point turns to get out. So we ended up here in parking lot D, which is at the very bottom of the park. And I say bottom because the National Zoo is on a hill. You having fun over there? It's on a hill. So I didn't realize this. The blessing in disguise is that we were at the bottom. So when we came into the park at the entrance for this particular lot, we ended up walking uphill for most of the time that we were there. And when we were done with all the exhibits and everything, we walked downhill back to the car. It was hot. Bathroom situations were shady. There weren't a lot of them. There weren't a lot of places to get drinks. The vending machines were stealing my money. I'd put a couple of dollars in, it would eat it and not give me the drink. So frustrating when you're dying of thirst. Somebody's having a really great time with the seat over there. So we're done. I'm going to check that off the list and never visit the National Zoo again. What do you think, Bryson?
I don't want to go there again because there's no like revisitability, or I don't know what the word is, but
the revisitability factor is
Let's do a 1 out of 10 scale. The revisitability factor is a 2 out of 10.